I'll bring it with me, but you need to take a picture of it for the auction, so I'll try to get it there before. Um,
That would be great.
Yeah.
So there'll be items up from people who have been played at the Citadel House throughout the year, and then stuff from some local artists and artisans, and members of the community are donating a couple items, like yourself a book, and I believe Rod Taylor, is going to be doing some stained glass.
Right.
And Charlotte is donating some of her hand-spun, natural-dyed wool.
Nice.
And then we're gonna kind of see. I've put out a couple asks to businesses in the community, so we'll see kind of what comes back. But it's always it's a really great evening of just like heartwarming, nice, and the items at the auction are nice, and it's just nice.
Yeah, and it's a nice social event as well. It's a nice chance to get out and see people and talk. It always feels like what Christmas is about, because it's for such a great cause, and you're just hanging out with good people and hearing good music. I don't know how it could be any better, to be honest. It's the ideal way to do a fundraiser, and the environment, the atmosphere is just one of positivity and good feelings, and I encourage everyone to good vibes. And yeah, and it's I always find it's Christmassy too, and I don't know, it's like I said, it's really what Christmas is all about, right? Helping everybody else out. That if you're going to give a gift, what better gift could you give than to provide a family who has a child who's not well? I mean, that's every parent's nightmare. They're in a hospital over Christmas, and just randomly get a gift of cash, basically, from some people
just
somewhere
to help
else.
Out, however.
Yeah. And they need it
because we've been there before, and
right, and that's right. And to make that your family has done that, and been on the receiving end of that generosity as well. And it's something that we should be doing all the time, and I think we are doing a lot of it. I think Christmas is more like a reminder. It's not that we only give in Christmas. I give all year if I see a needy cause. I jump in there to try to help when I can in some fashion. But Christmas is a reminder to me. It's like a marker. It's like New Year's is a marker to turn over a new leaf and try new things or something. Christmas is like sit down and think about other people, and how you can make life better for people. And I just think that's just such a worthy cause, and the thing of it is, you get to enjoy yourself while doing it, right? It's not a hardship. It's not like it's so much easier than shoveling somebody's driveway. Like, that's a good deed too, but I'd probably have a heart attack.
With the auction too, just a couple details for it is that the auction itself is going to be posted online on our Facebook page, and I believe the Facebook event on Friday is what we're aiming for right now. So actually today, the day this episode airs, it should be online there. And then you can pre-bid online and kind of get your foot in the door. And then on December, or the evening of the show, the doors will open at 7. So you can come in, get some snacks. We always have snacks for free. The tickets at the door are $10. And then you just come in and enjoy, take a look through the silent auction and scope out what you want. And then there'll be an intermission as well, where you can do that again and socialize. Yeah.
Sounds good. I will be there. So that's Sunday night.
Yes.
Okay. And anything else you want to add about that?
I think I've got it all there. Just had to say those words. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll it's online too. So Citadel House has been talking about it on Facebook and stuff as well. So, and more so coming up in the next few days before it actually proceeds. So, and I will get that book to you before the auction.
Perfect.
Now, I had a topic for us to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was, I just did a talking point, purchasing art, how to support artists. And I guess how to support artists. And we were just talking about financially helping people, but not only financially helping in a charitable way. We don't want you to buy art because of charity, although if you want to become a patron of the arts, that's quite welcome. But I wanted to talk about more practical matters when it comes to art. And by art, I mean theater, music, books, visual art, any of the arts. Um, Artists can only create when they have payment. They have to be paid for their work.
Yeah.
It is work. And I see a lot of times where I remember being involved. Someone wanted to do a concert, and they were talking about a concert for a good cause. And they were saying, well, we should ask this person and this person and this person. And I said, what do you mean? You ask them, you want them to just do it for free. Not only that, they were talking about people all over the province. And I'm like, they have to come here on their, like, you can't ask an artist, this is their work. It's like, would you ask a lawyer to, would you ask an accountant to do your taxes for free? Or you have to pay people for their work. You may make a deal with them to do it at a lower fee for something charitable. So it has opened up this conversation about the value of art and what people can do best to support it. I am not a shopper. Like, I'm not a shopper. Like, Kent's closet is way more full of clothes than mine. I don't purchase things unnecessarily. Going to the mall, I call it the mall, MAUL. I hate it. But it's also about consumerism, because I think we purchase a lot of things we don't need. But one thing that I do spend my money on, well, two things, but mostly books and music. I buy books and music. I download most of my books now because I'm in rural Newfoundland. So I do the ebook thing because I can get a book. Actually, one downloaded. I pre-ordered it. Downloaded this morning, right? And that's how I buy art that way. And I will buy visual art when I can afford it. I would rather buy art from an artist than to buy, something at Walmart or Sears, or even though that's still art. I mean, just because it's printed and produced in mass amounts doesn't mean it's not art created by the artist at some point.
But it's not such
it's
a direct,
not the same, and quite often those artists don't get anything for that. So I feel like it's a conversation worth having, because if you take visual arts, for example, to produce visual art takes hours, right? It takes hours of time. It also takes, an artist needs supplies. They need brushes, they need canvases, they need paints, they need studio space, they need a lot of things in order to be able to create their art. That all costs money. And if they're working on
the time and the skill that they've learned, taken to learn this.
Exactly. And so, I think people need to look, because I've heard people say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they want that much for this piece of art or this," and if you look at take an album, take a record, for example, or a CD now. But I mean, when I was growing up, the price of a CD is what, $15 to $20, maybe?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was growing up and I would buy a vinyl album, they were $10, $10, $12. It hasn't changed all that much. Compare that to the cost of living.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Right? And I buy a CD now, and, I don't buy, I do a lot of downloads because I only have a CD player in the car. But if I buy a CD now and I play it over and over and over and over again, I mean, I'm getting a lot of pleasure out of that CD for the price. So it's not a big investment, and there are still people who will do everything they can to find a pirated copy and buy downloads for free. People who can perfectly well afford to pay for it, and they do the same with books. And My book that is coming out in the spring, well, February, March, I'm not sure the date exactly. I've been working on it for 5 years. I don't know how many hours I've spent on it. Um, it will sell for maybe $20, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know the cost that the publisher charges. When I was buying books growing up, they were around that price. There hasn't been a lot of change.
That hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed a whole lot, and it's fascinating to see that people will, like I said, book pirating is huge. If I buy a book, sorry, if I have a book and you buy it on Amazon, you can resell that book and get half your money back or some of your money back by reselling it secondhand, and then they can sell it and they can sell it. But I only get money on the first one, right?
Yeah, that's true.
There's no residual. So it's so my whole point about talking about this is that there are a lot of people who think that a book is expensive or an album is expensive or a piece of art is expensive. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's not. It really hasn't changed a whole lot in, my lifetime. And the value, a book's value never stops. The books that I read when I was younger, they're still available, still just as valuable as they were then. Um, and so, and passing them on, and if you want free books, get them at the library, and
which also people should definitely do. Support your local library because libraries are amazing.
Well, they are amazing, and they're amazing to authors because libraries purchase our books.
Yeah.
Right? We don't give our,
I
have donated to small libraries, but the libraries purchase our books. And so the libraries are one of our best. Like, there's no other customer that, as Heather said to me, I'd like 20 copies of your book. Right?
But a library will.
The library will. And the people who are reading from the library are people who, consume so many books that to buy them all would be, pretty much impossible. They wouldn't be able to afford them. And we want people to read our books more than anything. So, they buy your book. They buy ebooks. When they buy ebooks, when there's an ebook at the library, everybody looks at the electronic books and thinks, "Oh, well, they don't have any overhead. They're cheaper and they're less. So why when I go to the library and I go on the Libby system, which is where you borrow a book on ebook on the library system, the copy's out because it's just a digital file. Like, why can't they just send them out to everybody?" And the fact of the matter is, they purchase them like every other book. If they purchase one copy of that e-file, that's it. If they purchase 5, they have 5.
They only have one copy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they can only put out what they have. And that's because they treat the author fairly. And so if they want to have more, because there's a demand, they have to purchase more. And so, yeah, I support the libraries, and that's why we started our literary tour, was to partner with the libraries and work together with them because they're so valuable. I mean, every author I know started writing because they read books and they were voracious readers and as kids didn't have an income, spent their time in the libraries, and that's where they get started and start that passion. So that's my little soapbox topic, is to buy art and go to live shows. That's another, I'm going to get really on the live shows, live music. People complain all the time there's nothing to do. And I am so exhausted from doing.
Looked hard enough.
Right? I find there are things to do. Go to live shows. Put your bum in a seat of an audience at a live show. Turn off Netflix. Because Netflix is not going anywhere. You can watch that on demand anytime. Get tickets to a show and go and sit in the seat and enjoy some live entertainment. Central Newfoundland has so much I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, we talk a lot about Citadels because obviously